So this is yours. So the first thing we're going to look at is your bone density. So remember, for a 20-year-old, I said it's 0 or -1 to +1 is the normal range, and you're basically 0.1. So your bones are perfectly normal.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, which is good. Now this little thing here, you can see where I've drawn the lines to divide the body up, and you see that little square there, R1.
Yep.
So that's the visceral, which I'll show you in just a moment. So the second page, this is the fat map. So if you have a look on here, red is lean mass, blue is bone, and the orange is the fat.
Okay.
And you carry it around your backside and thighs. All women do, right? We have another estimation of your visceral fat, which is visceral adipose tissue, which is just down here.
Yep.
Now, I'll just show you this one here. So you can see here the normal range is from 10 to 100, increased is 100 to 160, and then above 160 is high. So 10 to 100 is the normal. Yours is 9.
Okay.
Very low.
Okay.
Very, very low.
So that's really good.
Yeah, well, the chances of you getting, heart disease, diabetes and stuff are extremely low. Very low risk.
Flexible dieting.
There you go. All right. So the all-important body fat percentage is 20.9.
Awesome.
Okay. Cool. So if we look along here, this is your fat mass. You're currently carrying 10 kilos of fat.
Yep.
36.7 kilos of lean mass.
Cool.
So looking down here, this is distribution. So left arm 23.8, right arm 25. You can actually get yourself symmetrical using this too. You can work a little harder on your left arm to build up, or your right arm to reduce the muscle mass. So your total is 20.9.
Awesome.
Now R1 on your report, remember we spoke about that, R1 here. On here it's only 11.9 is the fat there. We want it to be under 600 grams. On a female, it's only 297.
Awesome.
So extremely low. That's why you're in excellent shape.
Perfect shape to start.
Yes. So
Sunday today, a week after, so I've already done my first week of prep. Basically, I got that Dexa scan done before I started my prep, and it's actually the first time that I've done a Dexa scan before. I just wanted to have a starting point, and knowing what body fat percentage I'm at now helps me determine how long I actually need to be in comp prep for. So it kind of gives me a starting point. And knowing as well how much lean mass I have helps me determine how much protein I need. So I used to do skin folds as part of my measurements during my last comp prep. Skin folds are not as accurate as Dexa scans, so generally they end up being a little bit lower than a Dexa scan, whereas a Dexa scan is, I think it's like 99% accurate. So as you saw on my Dexa scan, I was 20.9% body fat, which is an awesome start because I normally get down to, on skin folds, for bikini, I normally get down to 12% body fat. So on a Dexa, that'll probably be around 15 or 17% body fat. So basically, just judging off that, I need to lose about 4 to 6% body fat. But that's just rough. Mainly when I do comp prep, I mainly go off how I look, because when you're on the stage, you don't really get judged on your body fat. So the judges don't know what body fat you are at, and a body fat percentage looks different on everyone. So especially with females, we store body fat so differently. So 20% on me will look totally different as opposed to 20% body fat on somebody else. So kind of, so just like a starting point, mainly be going off body weight, so weighing myself every day and getting the weekly average, because we do fluctuate so much in body weight, females especially, because of our monthly visitor. So we do fluctuate a lot in body weight, so I can fluctuate, I've fluctuated like 1 kilo from day to day. So I do weigh myself every day and then just divide it by 7 and get my weekly average. So yeah, basically do that, and that's how I do adjust my macros based on what the scales say. So I do have a certain amount that I'm trying to lose every week, and if I don't lose that much every week, then I just adjust my macros. So just a slight drop in my macros based on that, so I can continue losing my weekly goal. And I also go off how I look. So pictures are a great way to see differences, because when you look at yourself every day, you can't really notice the differences. So taking photos along the way and comparing them is one of the best ways to see your progress. So moving on to meal plans, I have obviously, so after I did my Dexa scan on Friday, I worked out how many calories and macronutrients I'm going to start on. So how I did that, basically, I worked out my maintenance calories and did just a slight drop from that. So I know that in the off season I've been consuming around 1800 calories. That's my maintenance, assumed maintenance. So obviously there's things that can throw that maintenance off a little bit depending on your metabolism and that kind of thing. So my assumed maintenance was around 1800, so that's what I was eating. Off season, I didn't really weigh my food. I didn't weigh my food at all, but I have been flexible dining for quite a while and weighing food for 2-3 years, so I can kind of guesstimate really well. I don't really need to weigh food anymore. I can just look at a food and know how many grams is in it. In saying that though, I am weighing my food this comp prep. So during comp prep I do, just for accuracy, because a gram here and there can make a difference, and I don't want to leave any room for error. So in making my meal plan, so basically I decided to start on 1600 calories. So when you're starting off your diet, you kind of want to start on as high as possible and follow that for a week or two and see how your body responds. Because ultimately, if you start dieting at a higher calorie intake, your prep will be a lot easier and you'll have a lot more to work with. So I did start on 1600 calories. And in saying that, so I've been doing that for a week and I've already almost dropped a kilo in that week, which is above what I was intending to drop. So I will be keeping my calories at 1600. That's a day, obviously, 1600 a day for another week to see how my body responds again. With my calories and my comp prep this time though, I have decided to calorie cycle. So with calorie cycling, basically how that works is, because I do prefer high carbs and high fats, and it is really hard to do both at the same time without sacrificing your protein, and we don't really want that, because I want to try and maintain as much lean muscle as I can during this prep. So basically I've decided to calorie cycle. So calorie cycling is basically, so if I'm consuming 1600 calories a day, what I've done is times that by 7, and I've gotten the weekly intake of that, which I think was 11,200. So over a week I should be consuming 11,200 calories based on my 1600 calorie intake. So by calorie cycling, basically what I do with that is I do 2 low days, so 2 lower carb days and higher fat days, and they're normally around my non-training days. I've incorporated 2 high carb days, and they're my lower fat days, and they will be I usually have them on days on like my weaker body parts, so the parts I still want to grow. And then I've got 3 moderate days, so that's just moderate fat, moderate carbs. So that is a cycle that I'm doing at the moment. It seems to be working this week, looking at the scales, and even just I do feel leaner looking at my body already, which is awesome. So I'm going to do that cycle again for next week. When I meal plan, so I want to show you guys how I go about meal planning. So once I've worked out my macros and my how I'm going to cycle it, what I do is, so with flexible dieting, the cool thing is that you can make your favorite foods fit. So with dieting in general, I find that if I have a diet that I enjoy, I find it a lot easier to stick to. So flexible dieting allows me to do that. So I still meet my nutrients. So when I flexible diet, I assure that 80% of what I eat, I meet my targets. So I make sure I meet my fiber, my protein targets. I also make sure I have enough fruit and vegetables so that I meet my micronutrients as well. And then with the remaining calories, so I normally go 80-20, 80% all clean foods, or whole foods. I say clean foods because everyone has a different perspective on what clean is, but basically just whole foods, nutrient dense foods. So the other 20% I like to incorporate what I call fun foods, so foods that don't really add many micronutrients to my diet, but do help me meet my macronutrient targets. So things like my favorite, Nutella, Skinny Cows, the complete cookies, the Snickerdoodle. If you have not tried them, oh my gosh, if you love cinnamon donuts, you definitely want to try these. They are amazing. But anyway, I will talk you through all that. I'll show you my meal plan and how I went about it. But I just wanted to point that out. So with flexible dieting, I feel like a lot of people get the misconception that we kind of just eat whatever we want. That's not the case. Set targets, I guess. We still have certain things that we need to meet. So protein is essential, and fiber and micronutrients as well. So we do look at that as well. We don't just eat crap all the time. So yeah, keep that in mind. Even flexible dieters meal prep. I find that during comp prep especially, I don't eat on the go as much and track as I go. I do like to have a meal plan just for convenience and helps me stay consistent during prep. I just plan my meals out the week ahead and stick it on my fridge. So I've got my meal plan on my fridge ready to go. That way I know exactly what I'm doing and I don't have to think too much while I do it. And then as my macros change, obviously I adjust my my meals around. So I've done my worked out my macronutrients and what I need every day on my low, moderate and high carb days. So from there what I do is I write out my favorite, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. I write out my favorite protein, carb and fats. So once I've written down all my favorite protein, carbs and fats, from that I can then create meals. But what I've also done is I've also got a few favorite meals that I've been enjoying in my off season. So I have written down some high carb and low carb meals, if you can see that. So I've written them down as well so that I can try and factor them in, because I've already got those meals in my MyFitnessPal. So macros are already figured out for me. I basically just have to fit them in my diet and work around it. So once I've done that, yeah, so once I've got my macronutrients, my favorite macronutrients and my favorite meals written down, basically what I do is I fit them around my low, moderate and high carb days. So obviously with the high carb meals, I put them into my high carb days, and the low carb meals I put into my lower carb days. And yeah, so I work around that until I hit my macronutrient targets for those days. So that is how I go about meal planning and meal prepping. So makes it a lot easier to stick to if I am eating foods that I love. All this week basically I haven't really felt any cravings, and I've been enjoying every day because I'm eating foods that I love. So yeah, it's been a breeze so far. First week done, and hasn't really felt like I've been prepping. The only difference is that I am weighing my foods, whereas before in my off season I wasn't weighing my foods. So if you have any questions about meal planning, please pop them in the comments below. I'll make sure. I love answering questions, so don't feel like you are disturbing me by asking questions. I love interacting with you guys, and I love educating. And I feel like there's so much education that needs to be done because there's so much thrown around in the fitness industry that I don't agree with, or that I don't consider healthy and is not really evidence-based. So if I can clear up any confusion, then my job here is done. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you again very shortly.
I feel so close to you right now. It's a force field. I wear my